Now, God has the intention to make each and every one of us a vase. But we all do not turn out the way He wants us to be, and the way that we very often want to be. Does God reject us? No, He doesn't. He puts us again on the wheel and turns, and He makes us into a lesser vessel. But we are still His. Never despair, therefore, because there has been a failure. God does not let you go. The Father continues to work with you and to turn you into, even though it is a common vessel, one that can still contain the treasure of His grace. And we are very often, when tribulations and trial come, we are to see that we're clay in the hands of the potter, and God is molding us. On the last day, we'll be very grateful, too, that God did take His time in making us better. George Bernard Shaw said, "It is too bad that youth was wasted on the young." No, I think it's a good thing that youth was wasted on the young, because when we get older, we get a little wiser. And God has a better opportunity sometimes of working with His pots. Now we come to the last of the analogies of the pot. This is the story of the woman at the well. The time is high noon. The land is Samaria. Now Samaria was the ham in a sandwich. The Holy Land was divided into two parts, Judea and Galilee. Judea was on the right side of the tracks. Galilee was on the wrong side of the tracks. When the Babylonians, 6 centuries before Christ, took over this land, they brought in some of their own people who intermarried with the Jews. And they produced a hybrid race called the Samaritans. Now, the Jews would never have anything to do with the Samaritans. As a matter of fact, they would not accept any money for the building of the temple from the Samaritans. Now, I can't give you a better idea than that of how much they must have hated the Samaritans. And the Samaritans, in their turn, when the Jews were in captivity, they would telegraph the dates of the feast by lighting fires on mountaintops. The Samaritans would always light the fires 2 or 3 days in advance to confuse the Jews. The Samaritans would throw bones into the temple to desecrate it. So our blessed Lord now comes to this well at high noon, sits down tired. And a woman comes to draw water. Now she should not have been there at noon. No woman in a hot country ever comes at high noon to draw water from a well. There was a reason for it. And our blessed Lord says to her, "Will you give me to drink?" Whenever our Lord wants a favor, He often asks for one. And she said, "This well is deep, and you have no pot wherewith to draw. And how is it that you, a Jew, speak to me, a Samaritan?" Our Lord said, if you knew who it was who asked you for a drink, you would ask Him for the fountain of living water. Our Lord was here describing grace. He was saying, under the analogy of water, that I will give you a kind of an inner spring, a fountain of truth and love. But she couldn't understand that. And our blessed Lord saw that she could not. And he said to her, go tell your husband. She said, I have no husband. Our Lord said, thou answerest well, thou hast no husband, for thou hast 5, and he with whom thou livest now is not thy husband. Now that was embarrassing. Now you know why she couldn't come in the morning at night. The women wouldn't let her come. She was an evil woman. She had to come alone at noon. Now that was rather disturbing to the Samaritan woman, for a Jew to tell her that. How did he know anyway?